I should call him because everything reminds me of him. We are back for everyone's favorite series, mine included. It is the TikTok and Instagram review because, as always, there is an unlimited resource of online of people who do not feel shame or guilt or embarrassment and share what they think are really great design features and DIYs, but we're gonna dissect them today and see how terrible they really are. Oh no. I should call him because everything reminds me of him. They knew what they were doing with this one. Come on. Like, I know this isn't like a DIY, but this light fixture, it is a fleshlight, people. I don't know what you were thinking, but a foreskin lamp is not festive, and it's something no one, I think, has ever asked for, nor would ask for. I don't think this can be saved because I don't know what they were trying to achieve. There's nothing nice about it whatsoever. The fact that you have to pull it down to turn the light on. I do like the versatility of it in the only sense that you have to interact with it, even though it's a fleshy part to turn it on. I wonder if, the faster you go, if it turns on and off just as quickly. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 because someone knew exactly what they were doing with this and it has a different intended purpose besides the light fixture.
This is Ryan's shower every day. He has a lay down shower.
A lay down shower.
Whoa.
I love being waterboarded in the morning. I don't know who would want to lie down on granite early in the morning. Like, it's just gonna feel slimy and like touching a dirty surface like that. If I went to a bathroom like this, I would assume that this looks like it's almost like a urinal. The way that it's laid out, you're just gonna stand there and it's a communal urinal. I have no idea who thought laying down on a wet surface, lathered up in soap, and then being waterboarded would be like a dream shower scenario. The only time I could see this being okay if this is like a hydro massage and you're laying there and you kind of rotate, but even then, that's not gonna be a comfortable experience. Like, I have so many questions. How do you apply soap? Where are you keeping it? Where does the water drain off or does it just fall? What is the splash zone of this space? And what was the concept and idea here? 0 to 10, purely based on the function. I maybe would have given them a point if this was like an ergonomic seat, but you're definitely not getting any ergonomics out of a solid custom stone. This is not doing it for me. If you're into torture play, I could see this being like, a vibe with the waterboarding, but I don't know what trauma you need to experience as a child to discover that this is what turns you on.
Do you remember when I wanted to marble my archway using the leftover Rosso Levanto
Okay, we're using
stone
some
from the
leftover
bathroom
stone, I'm
vanity?
assuming.
So we got our stonemasons to cut it to size. He was too busy to install it for us and gave us some tips on how to do it
You're
ourselves.
gonna do it yourself?
But to be fair, I reckon I would have completely butchered it. How good is bloody Airtasker? And this guy came in, did it in a couple of hours for $250. I'm not gonna lie, but I was freaking
I'd
the
be
F
freaking out too.
Look at him work. He's magic. Oh my God, look at him go. Oh my God, look at it. Look at it. Is this actually happening? Oh, guys, look at it now.
I'm impressed. I wasn't sure about the vision where they were going with this, but I think they really pulled through with this. Using leftover stone is a phenomenal way to just create that little accent. I usually make plinths out of them for my clients or for my own place to like use up that extra stone. If you're buying a whole slab, you're not using the whole thing for just a small vanity feature like this. And especially in a small space for that portal, it can really create a beautiful design feature that's that transition between the two rooms, because the color palette between this hallway and the bathroom is Design Daddy approved. The amount of trust that they had in bringing in a tasker to do this is beyond me. I would have waited for like an actual professional, but the edges I hope are polished on the sides to give it like that completed look. The arch I think looks really great. Honestly, like I wish I knew a person that could install stone for $250 because I would have it literally everywhere. I hope they use the right kind of epoxy adhesive for this to stay in place. You know what? I'm gonna have to give this a 9 out of 10. The paint, the colors, the design complement everything really well. I'm actually thoroughly impressed. It's very rare that I see a design that has a beautiful language that feels cohesive. The color palette is amazing. Props to you. Speaking of plinths, okay, the mitered edges, giving them a point for that. Skip. Okay, the compound glue, I probably would have used epoxy just in case. You know what? This is a pretty friendly DIY. I appreciate the mitered edges because the amount of DIYs of people I've seen making plinths that just have the exposed tile on the edges, or worse, use a Schluter strip on the corners, look really janky. This feels really flattering. The tiles are still random. The pattern almost looks cohesive, at least throughout it. So I give him a point for that. Because it's porcelain, I know you're going to like see the seams, which actually aren't that visible based on the mitered edge. I probably would have given them an extra point if they kind of stained where those darker areas are, so it looks like a full-bodied piece. But you know what? To create something like this, I would have probably added maybe like a plywood or a 2x4 base to give it that extra structure and stability, only because the porcelain, like, you know, if someone leans on that, if you hit it too hard with a vacuum, it may chip and fall over. But I'm gonna have to give them an 8 out of 10. I think they did a really great job. I probably would have given them more if they drew on those edges. Doing a plinth like this well, I'm gonna give them props for this. I don't know what you're doing with this. Like, what if you brushed up against that and sliced yourself open? 0 for safety standards. Oh, yeah, this is a trip to the hospital, like waiting to happen. There's one thing to create shape with porcelain, and then you've created a death trap in your shower, and then you have this weird like scalloped detail that doesn't relate anything to the shower in the same vicinity in that same vision. Oh, the random of this shape and to pair it with the soft curve of the vanity is absolutely bizarre to me. Like, if you wanted to create a more cohesive vision, I would have mimicked that same like scalloping detail in a much larger format for these tiles, and it looked, I mean, it would have kind of looked better, but this just looks janky. It looks ridiculous. I gotta give this a 0 to 10. Nothing in this bathroom looks good together. The finishes are off. The death trap jagged edged tiles are horrible. Like, could you imagine your hand just like slips or touches those corners while you're in there? This is a lawsuit waiting to happen. This is also a lesson in just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Have you ever decoupaged with the napkin burning technique? All you need is
no.
1 ply of napkins, some Mod Podge, and then you're going to lay your napkin on top of those words.
God.
And before it dries, you don't want your Mod
surprised
Podge to
how
dry.
many
You're going to
people-
cut off the extra and then get a lighter.
Why are there so
Make
many
sure you
people
have a water
asking for this
bottle handy
tutorial
in
the
case it flares
comments?
up a little bit. And just
We've
start
really lost
lighting
the
it
plot.
and look how it forms all around those letters.
I'm gonna give them a point. I think that's a cute trick. I feel like Mod Podge, I mean, maybe in the pot, it's not flammable. I know the aerosol is 100% flammable, so make sure you're using the correct one for this. I don't know what's worse. The use of the gingham napkin, the Mod Podge, the word art, it's literally the combination of my worst nightmare all combined. I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 10. The points for the fire trick, only because I hope it burns the entire thing.
Day one of transforming my entryway. So I'm going to be adding some wainscoting. Tell me which one is right. I went ahead and measured everything out, so I'm just going to trace it on the wall.
Okay, I like the direction of this so far. Chair rail, a beautiful craftsman detail.
Got my first 2 pieces cut. I temporarily glued them together using some like CA.
I feel like this pattern looks like it belongs in the foyer. I usually don't like ASMR videos, but I'm kind of into the nail gun mates. That takes a lot of editing to do all those cuts like that. I personally would have gone with a thicker chair rail and a thicker picture frame mold. I also would have aligned it with the door height framing so it feels like you have that same visual connection from the 2 perpendicular walls. I can appreciate that he measured everything out, drew it out instead of just freestyling, because then you get those really kind of awkward, like weird sizing and spacings. Okay, you know what? I gotta give him a point for this. 7 out of 10. I know this isn't the finished product, but I feel like I would have given a higher score if things looked proportionate. I would want a much higher baseboard because the ceiling height is quite vast in this room as well. As I mentioned before, it's just a few scale issues. I love that he used the wood filler on the nail holes instead of just using a plaster, because it's really going to help prevent any kind of cracks and movement on the wall. As an added tip, I would also caulk around all the seams. Yes, I said caulk, but that's going to help stabilize it on the wall as well and prevent any little gaps when you paint it down the line. You have to let me know in the comments what my next should be, because a few of these you guys sent me and I love getting all of the DMs and emails from these. you know, some of them can be Design Daddy approved. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel because I have so many videos in this series. This is my favorite series to do. I'm your Design Daddy. This is why you're here listening to me, people. You want to know the judgment. Is it jailable or is it Design Daddy approved? And if you're looking for more interior design content and you cannot wait until next week, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Mr. Phoenix Grade. And if you're ever second guessing yourself, just ask, what would Design Daddy do?